I'm in the middle of my job, but let's see how long this lasts.
I'm not a fan of interracial dating. I think it's very counterproductive for Black people to specifically date white people while we're in a society that has a lot of racism towards Black people that's specifically perpetuated by white people. I think this is very counterproductive. I've already expressed my distaste for interracial dating. I've already stated several times that I do not date white men at all. I only date Black men. I literally don't date outside my race. If I was going to be open to dating outside my race, it still wouldn't be a white person. I just don't believe that Black people should be dating white people. I think we should really have voluntary segregation. But anyway, so
and it's funny. Why would she claim that it's racism? And that's the main reason why she wouldn't be with white people, because of racism, when she perpetuates racism against Black women herself. Like, literally, she calls a Black woman, set her hair with slave hair. So, I mean, like, you keep saying that white people are perpetuating racism, but she was the main one. It's obvious. I don't think it was quite racism that bothered her with white people, but some issues of hate that she has towards white people. And you can see through this that she's a very hateful person to white people. And she hasn't changed. She hasn't changed. You can see she's very hateful towards white women. She just hides her teeth a little bit with white men because there's an end to a mean, to her reason why she does that. Anyway, I'll get into that.
I don't need to go into all that because everyone who watches me already know how I feel with interracial dating. Now, the reason I'm sharing this story with you guys because I want you to understand the mentality of racism. I have the belief that most Black people, if not all, who are dating white people are just simply dating them out of self-esteem issues. I also do believe that it doesn't matter if.
And honestly, that's another thing. She does think very lowly of people who interracially date, which is really odd, because it's like, how can you think that anyone has low self-esteem when you disparage Black people's hair, Black women's hair? You won't show anybody your hair, and you literally have a low self-esteem towards having Black hair, most likely. That's why you disparage other women, Black women who have natural Black hair that they love. Anyway, continue.
A white person dates a Black person, they're still going to have the mentality that they really don't care what you're going through at all. They just really want to date you. That's probably why there's nothing changing in society in terms of racism and institutional racism, systemic racism, despite the fact that there was a lot of interracial dating going on between Black people and white people. So I actually have a profile on a dating website. It is a popular dating website. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people sending me messages on there. I really don't even get on there that often. So on this website, in my profile, it states very clearly that I do not like white men, that I'm only interested in dating Black men. And actually on the website, you can select your preference of who you want to send you messages, which on mine, I selected that I only want to get messages from Black men. This has not stopped the overabundance of white men from sending me messages. Now, normally what I do is once I see that the message is coming from a white man, I simply ignore it. I don't need to be mean to him, but I'm just not going to respond because I said I don't date white men. So I was on the site because I want an activities partner, someone that I can go out and do things with. So I got messages from a number of different people, and one guy, when I checked his profile, because he only had one picture on there, and you couldn't really tell what his race was. So I looked on his profile, and under race, it said other ethnicity. So we were having a conversation. The weather has been very good here in Seattle, so I was going to go walk the waterfront. Upon text messaging this guy, he said he wanted to go walk with me, or messaging back and forth on the app. He said he wanted to go with me. So I was like, okay, that's fine. We can walk the waterfront, talking, get to know each other. So I send this guy my number, and I just tell him just to text me because I really don't be on the website at all. So I told him to text me. So when he texts me a picture, and in the picture he looks like he's white, right? So I'm just like, okay, that's really interesting because I looked on this guy's profile and I'm pretty sure it did not say that he's white. So I went and looked again just to confirm, and indeed his profile said other ethnicity. And so we're having this text message conversation, and I'm going to read it to you just so you can understand, and I'll give you commentary in between it. But so after seeing his picture, I asked him, where he was from. He said that he's from Croatia. So Croatia is actually a European country, so he's clearly white, and it's around Italy. And that's what he confirmed it and said that Croatia, it's
Sorry for the commercial.
It's a small country and it's in Italy. Okay, so clearly he's white. So I asked him, and this is through text message, I said, have you ever dated a black woman? I don't date white men. And that's what my message says. So he messaged me back and he says, I'm not white, I'm Croatian, and yes, I have dated a black girl before. So then I responded and I said, if Croatia is in Europe, then you're white. A country isn't a race unless it's within the continent of Africa. So then he replies and says, yes, I'm white, but I'm Croatian. There is a huge difference between that and being born here. So you already see that he's trying to make his culture his race.
No, he was trying to explain why he put other instead of white American, because he was saying that he isn't the same ethnic background as a white American, which would be correct because he has a different cultural background. So I think that's what the lens he was thinking of as who he was rather than just a skin tone. Like you literally see things through a dang skin tone to the point where you like a person, but you realize that they have white skin, and then you have this whole aspect of basically attributing all these characteristics to them based off of a color. See, you like them without knowing their race. That says a lot. But anyway, continue.
He's clearly lying because he just admitted that he is white, but he's putting other ethnicity that he's not on his profile. And then he said, sorry, you don't date white folks. So, and then he tries to deflect and says, oh, Seattle is beautiful. So my thing is you're not going to deflect because now that you're white, you need to tell me why you're on my phone. So he goes, that's not anything to be sorry about. I just feel like it's counterproductive for black people to date white people while there's still racism by white people. Now, I could have ended the conversation with him before saying that, but I had this conversation with him and I made that comment for a specific purpose. And just like I suspected he was going to, he responded like I would suspect most white people to respond to, which is indicative of reality and why there's really nothing changing for black people despite interracial dating. So he goes, yeah, I'm not politically active like that and don't really stand for a cause. I'm just trying to live a successful life and do right by the people that know me and I encounter on a daily basis. Sorry you're affected by all the bullshit that goes on. Now, although he's saying sorry that you're affected by all this bullshit, he's also saying that that's your problem and I kind of just want to live my life. I'm not really trying to be involved politically in this, situation between racism against black people. So that's basically what he's saying. He doesn't want to be bothered by it. He just wants to live his life. Now, this is the same mentality that a lot of white.
But this is what's so weird. It's like, why are you blaming white people for all these things when you yourself will create narratives against other black people that is racially based? I don't get this. I don't. If these very same type of people will create racist stereotypes against black people and try to talk poorly about black people, like I said, talking negatively racially about black women's hair or other aspects of basically using stereotypes against black people. I've seen that more often with black people than white people, honestly, and I never understood why these type of people would blame anyone besides themselves for this. I mean, you create a bad image of black people and then you expect others to not see that when you're the one pushing it. And I feel like with this whole situation, this is what I'm saying. She has an animosity towards white people. This isn't about an issue with racism. That's deflecting, basically. She's deflecting and trying to character assassinate somebody because she has an issue with white people. So she just tries to say all white people are racist because she doesn't like white people. And you can see this on her channel now. Her main focus is often white women, and nowadays she tries to leave off on trying to attack white men as much because of her audience and things of that nature, but she still tries to attack white people. And this is just her. Either way, she's gonna get her racist views of white people out, whether it's at a white man like in this video or 5 years later in present day going after white women. Continue.
People actually have. There's been people on my comments that have said, white men who have said they're married to black women, but racism is black people's problems. Like this guy literally on my comments said, I'm married to a black woman, but racism is black people's problem because white people don't face racism. Now, my question is that, okay, so that's your wife, and as your wife, she does deal with racism. So why is it that her problem isn't your problem, although you're claiming to love